Hello, I'm Jonathan Dunksy, author of the Adam Lapid Mysteries. On this channel, I often talk about books that I read and enjoyed, and today I'd like to tell you about The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith. Robert Galbraith is a pseudonym of J.K. Rowling, the famous author of the Harry Potter series. I'm not a big Harry Potter fan. I've only read the first book of that series, but I was interested in seeing how a writer of fantasy transitioned to write murder mysteries. And I read and heard good things about The Cuckoo's Calling, so I finished it recently, and I'd like to tell you about it today so you'll know whether this is a book that you'd like to read yourself. The Cuckoo's Calling came out in 2013, and it's book one of the Cormoran Strike series. I believe there are 6 novels in the series so far, with more to come. Cormoran Strike, who is one of the 2 main characters in this book, is a private investigator operating in London. He is a former soldier who lost part of his leg in Afghanistan, so he now has a prosthesis, and this affects his movements and his life, and can also give him, cause him great discomfort and some pain. He is a man who is down on his luck. He has recently broken off his relationship with his fiancée, and he actually lives in his office in London. He sleeps there. He has very little money. His business is doing poorly, and so he is a man who whose life seems to be going absolutely nowhere. The second main character of the book is a woman by the name of Robin Ellicott, who in the beginning of the novel becomes the temporary secretary of Strike. Even though Strike cannot afford her, he agrees to let her stay on for a week, and she becomes much more, or he learns that she is much more competent and able than he expected from a temporary secretary, and she actually becomes someone who helps him with the investigation that is the heart of this novel. So let's talk about the investigation, the mystery that The Cuckoo's Calling tells us, the reader, about. In the beginning of the book, Strike is hired by a man called John Bristow to investigate the death of his sister Lola, who was a supermodel. And she jumped from her window and was found dead in the street. And the police and the entire world believed this was a suicide because Lola had she had a history of mental issues, of depression, and she was even hospitalized for a time. So and she lived in a sort of very secure building that no one could get into, and move around in without being photographed or videotaped and seen. So the logical conclusion, basically the only conclusion that anyone can reach, is that she indeed took her own life. But her brother John does not believe so, and he hires Strike to investigate this case and he hopes, find out who really killed his sister. Strike himself doesn't believe that there is anything unusual about the death. He believes that this was a suicide just like everyone else. But he needs the money that John Bristow is offering, and he's offering quite a lot. And he also has a connection with this family, with John Bristow's family, with Lola's family, because when Strike was a child, he used to move around a lot. He came from a broken home. His father did not live with. He was an illegitimate child of a famous rock musician. So his father did not take any responsibility for him. So Strike lived with his mother and sister, and they moved around quite a lot. And during a certain period in his childhood, he became a friend of a boy called Charlie Bristow, who is John Bristow's brother. But Charlie died when Strike knew him when they were children, when he fell into a quarry. And then Strike moved away with his mother, and all connection with the Bristow family was lost. So Strike has a sort of emotional connection with his family, so he's also driven by that to accept the case and to do his utmost to get to the bottom of it. So Strike begins investigating the death of Lola Landry by interviewing people that she knew, by digging into her life. And she was a supermodel, as I said, very famous, rich, moved around in the highest circles of society. And this investigation takes Strike into those circles. He talks with a lot of rich people in and around London, and many of these people are not people that are kind or generous or even good in any way. One of the things that surprised me about the book is the fact that Strike is described as this sort of big, hulking, imposing man, but there is very little violence in the book. There's very little physical altercation, and this is one of the critiques of the book that I read in various Goodreads reviews, that there is not a lot of action in the novel, and this is true. The novel is more about a detective and his assistant, Robin, going about the business of investigating a murder very methodically, very intricately. Strike takes, say, copious notes of everything that he does, of every meeting that he has, every interview, and so we get to follow him as he pieces these details and reaches certain conclusions and makes certain mistakes and then learns from them and moves on. But there isn't any, or there's almost any physical action or heart-thumping moments in the book. And because Strike was described in the book as this imposing figure, I kept expecting him to show off this physical prowess. But other than that, or even putting that aside, it didn't really affect my enjoyment of the book. The writing was terrific. The mystery was very intricate, with a lot of small details that you needed to follow and piece together correctly in order to reach the right conclusion. And I quite enjoyed that, this intricate puzzle within the book. And I enjoyed reading along with Strike, reading, seeing what he does, and also with Robin. Both of these characters are characters that are easy to like and to follow and to hope for the best for. So I quite enjoy The Cuckoo's Calling. If you're in the mood for a mystery that is sort of meaty and very rich in details, and you like the challenge of maybe solving the puzzle within a mystery before the end of the book, I think that you're going to have a good time with The Cuckoo's Calling. You can find links in the description below to where you can pick a novel, buy a copy of this novel. I'm looking forward to reading the next book in the series, and I hope that I found a new fictional detective to follow across many books. So let me know in the comments if you read The Cuckoo's Calling or any other books in the series, or if you can recommend any other mystery novel that you think I'll enjoy. I'm always looking for more good books to read. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.